All right, how you doing today, man? Today we're gonna be breaking down inefficiencies, strictly bullish fair value gaps, bearish fair value gaps, and inverses fair value gaps. I say inverses fair value gap, inverse fair value gap. So the first example we're gonna go over is a bearish fair value gap. So let's focus on the red zone. So yes, you are correct, right? A bearish fair value gap is a three candlestick pattern, right? So it's one, two, three, and the one in the middle makes the gap. So it's a three candlestick pattern, one, two, three, to where the first low wick do not touch the third's high wick, and that middle candle is the gap, and it makes it a fair value gap. So this is how you use a fair value gap, which is also an inefficiency. So whenever you hear me say inefficiencies, I'm talking about a fair value gap, some type of fair value gap, whether it's on a 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 minute, it don't matter. So a fair value gap, once it gets created, you want to wait for it to pull back into the fair value gap, right? To do like a retest of the fair value gap. And then as it's leaving, right, that's where you want to get in. So you see how this fair value gap came back into it, left it, came back into it again, and left all the way down. So this is how you use a bearish fair value gap. It's a three candlestick pattern to where the first candle and the third candle do not touch. And once it gets created, you want to wait for it to come back into the fair value gap to catch your play short. And this is a bearish fair value gap. So you want to catch your plays down. So you want to wait for it to come up into it to go down. So that is what a bearish fair value gap is. So now we're going to go in a bullish fair value gap. So let's focus on this green zone here. So a bullish fair value gap is the same thing as a bearish fair value gap, but instead of it's going down, it will be going up. So it's a three candlestick pattern, one, two, three, to where the first candlestick top wick do not touch the third candlestick top wick. And the candle in the middle, that's showing the direction, that's the gap. And that what create the fair value gap. And once it gets created, you want to wait for it to come back into the fair value gap. And as it's leaving, that's when you want to catch your play to go up, right? Just like the bearish example, you want to catch it to go down. The bullish example is you want to catch it to go up. And that's how you use a bullish fair value gap. So now we're going to get into an inverse fair value gap. An inverse fair value gap is whether it's a bullish or bearish fair value gap. With this example, this is a bullish fair value gap. So let's notate this first as a bullish fair value gap. So now, how do you want to see bullish fair value gaps get used, right? Same thing. You want to see it get created, and then when it comes back into the zone, you want to catch the play to go up, right? But a inverse fair value gap is when it do not use the bullish fair value gap correctly, right? It literally just disrespects it. It disrespects the bullish fair value gap. And now, because it disrespects it, right, it closes below, disrespecting the bullish fair value gap. You want to see this same fair value gap, right? Nothing changes, right? You want to see this same fair value gap, but instead of to use it to go higher, you want to use it to go lower. So instead of it using it to go higher, which is the correct way, you want to use it to go lower. And that is what makes it an inverse fair value gap. And this is a bullish fair value gap that got created to make an inverse. So let's go into another example. And so, and that is what an inverse fair value gap is. So let's go into another example of a bullish. So we got two examples of a bullish fair value gap right here. Look at the bullish fair value gap. The three candlestick pattern, 1, 2, 3. Look how it comes right back into the bullish fair value gap here, and it runs away, right? That's what a bullish fair value gap is. It gets created. You want to wait for it to come into the zone, into the gap, and then once it leaves it, that's your fair value gap. You want to catch your play to go up. So that's another example of a bullish fair value gap, which is also a inefficiency. So an inefficiency is also an inverse fair value gap, and it's also a bullish fair value gap, and it's also a bearish fair value gap. They all are inefficiencies. So look at this fair value gap. Look how we used it here, and it went up. Look how it comes back into. Look how it comes. Look how it comes back into this 1, 2, 3 candles, which is the fair value gap, the gap. Look how it comes right back in it, respects it. Look how it respects it, and then eventually it leaves it. So look how it comes right back into the same zone. You catch your play here to go up. Stop loss right below. So that's another example of a bullish fair value gap. A bearish fair value. Look at the example of this bearish fair value gap. So 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candle. Look at the candle in the middle, leaves a gap. Look how it gets created, and then this bearish candle, look how it comes into it right here, and it just goes all the way down. This is an example of a bearish fair value gap. Any more examples? So no. So I hope I broke down what an efficiency is. I hope I broke down what the inverse fair value gap and all of those things are. So if you got any questions, please write it into the chat in the Discord, and yeah, we'll get back to it again.